Okay, we found this sink. Now this sink is a really good find because it has a lot of chipping paint and rust. So it'll really show the capabilities of what powder coating can do to make something from old to new. So we brought it back here to the Powder X training facility so Joey can help us.
Wow, I knew you said you were going to do something on your trash to treasure thing, but you kind of outdid yourself with this one. This is pretty...
It's pretty beat up.
Yeah, it is pretty beat up. Got a lot of flaking paint here. Looks like there's a lot of rust. Going to be a lot of disassembly work and some fun things like that, but I think we can turn this around and make it look good. Alright, I tell you what, let's do. We're going to pretend here for just a minute. We're going to pretend that you're actually going to pay to get this done, and we're going to pretend that I'm the powder coating shop owner. So when you bring this into me, first thing I'm going to want to know, I want to know what you're going to do with it. What purpose is it going to serve? Where are you going to put it? What's it going to be used for?
I'll be using this outside.
You're going to keep it outside, out on a deck or something of that nature? Okay. Well, that gives me a good idea of what sort of powder we're going to want to use, because there are powders that don't go well outside, some that are better for the UV rays and the rain and all that fun stuff. So we'll make sure that we pick out a powder that's good for that. Next thing is going to be, golly, we got to figure out what color you're going to want to do with it. Have you thought about any color scheme you want to do, or you want to go back with white? You're going to fix it up, so I'm assuming you're going to want to probably spruce it up a little bit. What colors are you going to do?
Let's go look at the colors.
Let's check them out.
With powder coating, there are hundreds of colors to choose from candies to translucents. Additionally, there are several textures and finishes. I picked this color because it looks like it would have a nice finish for the outdoors. Okay, so I found this color for this sink. I really like this color.
That is a silver vein with some looks like some sort of metal showing through on the black. The texture is going to be good because you got a lot of pits and stuff in that sink.
To be able to cover that stuff up.
Yeah, to cover it up. If you picked us a flat color, there'd be a lot of Bondo work and metal fill and things of that nature. Let's see. We have a super durable TGIC polyester. That's a great choice to pick because if you picked an epoxy or something of that nature, they won't hold up outside. That's going to be fantastic. I will tell you this, we did notice I was looking at your sink, there's several different pieces to it. So you got the drawers, you got the handles, you got the base, everything. You want to do everything this color? You want to change up anything else on it?
No, I think we should make the handles a different color.
Okay. What color do you want to do the handles?
Let's see. Something that would help stand out but also match. Probably a black, this black, or what would be a good black for that.
Okay, well I'll tell you what, this is probably the most glossy black that we have. It's probably from 6 to 8 foot away you can actually see your reflection in it. We won't be able to see it so much in that because it's not a lot of large flat surface area, but that's going to stand out I think pretty well against that silver vein. Once again, super durable TGIC polyester, so that'll work great. Now,
so how long will something like this last on a sink like this outside?
Oh, it's going to last a while. It's going to depend a lot on the prep work. So we're going to really have to do a lot of prep to this. We can't just go out here and throw powder on it. If we did and send it home with you, it's not going to last very long. So it's all going to depend on the amount of prep we're going to do. So yeah, we probably need to walk out here and I'll show you what all we're going to have to do to it from a prep standpoint, and we'll get started on all that, and then we'll come back and powder coat this thing later.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Alright, let's see what we got here. We've got a lot of, well, this thing's got a lot of bits and pieces to it, a lot of drawers and things of that nature. You're going to see you got all this rust in there. We're going to have to sandblast all that off. From the looks of these drawers, this is probably all spray paint. That will definitely have to come off. We can't powder coat over it. You can notice you've got a lot of rubber grommets and things of that nature. We want to take all these handles off. So there's going to be a lot of disassembly work to begin with on it. And then a lot of blasting on top of all that. Even the main sink part it looks like it's been spray painted over some old porcelain enamel, so we'll have to try to blast all that off and see if we can get down to a surface that the powder will actually adhere to. But could be a little bit of work on the disassembly of it. Okay, I can't find Megan, but we found something else pretty interesting with this sink here. It looks like before whoever threw this away, apparently they went in and had a new floor put in the base of this thing, because it's they have a new welded piece of metal in here, so that's going to be a little bit of a different challenge for us. We're going to have to clean these welds up a little bit and all that, and still don't know where she disappeared to.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Now, but what about these numbers on here?
Aha, see, I was looking for you. That's another thing that I was going to tell you. On the numbers are all stamped on. And what's going to happen is if we powder coat directly over that, that's actually going to bleed through the coating. We're going to see it. With that texture, it may not bleed through as bad, but adding the right light, you still may be able to see the numbers. So what we'll do is we'll actually take a solvent and we'll get them off with the solvent first before we coat the part. Now, I do want to point out something to you where a lot of people make a mistake out here is they'll take a DA sander or something of that nature and they'll try to sand those numbers off and they'll get it off the surface and you can't see it. But what it actually does is metal is very porous. So the ink will go down into the metal and as soon as it heats up, out of the pop. That's right, it'll resurface. So we'll make sure we get that off with a solvent first. So that should take care of this inside for us.
All right, sounds good.
All right, now I've looked this thing over. We do have one potential big problem. Somebody has come in here with Bondo. This looks like probably an automotive Bondo. And I'm gonna be willing to bet you this thing probably had a lot of holes where rust had already eaten through it. So they've come in and Bondoed it. Problem is this automotive Bondo is probably not gonna hold up to the heat in the oven. So we're gonna have to check that out and see what happens when we blast it. We may put it in and see how it reacts to the heat. There are some Bondo type materials that are metal fillers that are actually made for the powder coating process that are high temperature. Worst comes to worst, we'll blast all this back out, blast it back off, and we'll come back in and fill it and smooth it out with a product that's actually made to powder coat over the top of. So that could be a problem for, it's going to be a challenge for us. It won't be a problem, but it'll be a little bit of a challenge for us, but we'll make it work.
All right.
With a piece like this, you want to make sure that you note all the flaws to see what work needs to be done. It is also necessary to disassemble it completely down to the last bolt. After disassembly, all the old paint and rust needs to be sandblasted off. Smaller parts like the drawers and handles are blasted in the blasting cabinet, but the larger sections are too big for the cabinet but can be blasted in the booth. After blasting, the parts are pre-treated with the multi-metal cleaner coater phosphate, which etches the metal and adds a rust inhibitor. Pre-treatment is important in the longevity of your finish. The better it's cleaned, the longer it will last. Once the parts are thoroughly pre-treated and dry, they are ready for powder coating. The coated parts are then put inside the oven to cure. Curing is achieved at 400 degrees and the parts should be in the oven for no less than 15 minutes. We are curing for about 20 minutes. It's better to overcure than to undercure.